Catholics have decided to elect a brand new pope. Pope Robert Prevost took the name Pope Leo, the whatever number they're on now. I don't bloody well care. But he is the first American pope. And as we know, loads of people over in Italy that saw the white smoke come out, they were celebrating the fact that the cardinals had chosen a brand new leader. And personally, I find the whole process rather intriguing. And we all know that in history, popes played a very, very important role in society, especially for the Catholic faith and the Catholic traditions and you name it, and also influencing kings and societies and also the Crusades and so much. They have a massive impact on the cultural dynamics. And it's also very intriguing to me because so many people look up to or worship the Pope. They think that the Pope is the actual messenger of God, even though cardinals get together in a conclave and they lock themselves away and they're the ones that decide to elect this particular person. Now, obviously, I have been seeing a little bit of an interesting dynamic on the internet at the moment. Loads of people are going, who in the world is Robert Prevost or Prevost or whatever you want to say? And is he woke? That is the first thing that I kept on seeing. Is Robert Prevost woke? Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that because not a lot of people actually know who in the world Robert Prevost is. Although he served in Peru, he has, I believe, a heart for missions and helping out the poor. And he is the first English-speaking pope to ever have existed. That is saying something. So if you want to go progressivism, definitely this is very progressive for the Catholic Church to do. Also, the fact that he's the first American born from Chicago pope ever. Like, that is also saying something too. But according to Laura Loomer, he is an anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, pro-open borders, and a total Marxist like Pope Francis. And Catholics don't have anything good to look forward to coming up. That's according to Laura Loomer. If you want to believe what Laura Loomer says, it's totally up to you. But Billboard Chris posted this about the whole radical gender ideology thing that apparently Pope Leo, the whatever number he is at the moment, the promotion of gender ideology is confusing because it seeks to create genders that don't exist. Megan Kelly also posted, way to go, Pope Leo. Like, that's the way to say things. And some other people like Ada Luch over on X says he has the good person's face, meaning he kind of looks like he's going to be a good person, but is that going to be the case? One has to wonder, right? It's very intriguing. And I saw BBC News put this out. Who is Robert Prevost, the new Pope Leo? And it's quite intriguing why they choose an old school type of name, especially Pope Leo. So I understand you had Pope Francis and you got all these different old school sort of names. So why in the world go with Pope Leo? Gee, I don't know. Just an opportunity for you to change your name. Even before his name was announced from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, the crowds below were chanting, Viva la Papa! Long live the Pope! Viva la Papa! Long live the Pope, man. Robert Prevost, 69. By the way, he doesn't actually look that old. He looks fairly young. He still looks like he's in his 50s, believe it or not. Will be the 267th occupant of the throne of St. Peter, and he will be known as Leo, the whatever number he is now. He is the first American to fill the role as Pope, although he is considered as much a cardinal from Latin America because of the many years he spent as a missionary in Peru before becoming a bishop there. Born in Chicago in 1955, the parents of Spanish and Franco-Italian descent, Prevost served as an altar boy and was ordained as a priest in 1982, although he moved to Peru 3 years later. He returned regularly to the US to serve as a pastor and a prior to his home city in Chicago. He has Peruvian nationality and is fondly remembered as a figure who worked with marginalized communities and helped build bridges. He spent 10 years as a local parish pastor and as a teacher at a seminary in Trujillo in northwestern Peru. In his first words as Pope, Leo spoke fondly of his predecessor, Francis. We still hear in our ears the weak but always courageous voice of Pope Francis, who blessed us, which we know Pope Francis was the most wokest progressive popes going around. And some people will be going, Jay, you're not Catholic. You're not, and it got nothing to do with this. Why in the world are you making a video about this sort of stuff? Why do you care? Personally, I don't actually care. But in saying that, like I mentioned at the very beginning, the Pope, for some reason, has a massive influence in the culture shifting dynamics. Like, so we need to be watching who the Catholics decide to elect as their leader of the figurehead of the church for the Catholics, because that will then trickle down the line, as we know. So, united and hand in hand with God, let us advance together, he told cheering crowds. He also spoke of his role in the Augustinian order. He was 30 when he moved to Peru as part of an Augustinian mission. Francis made him Bishop of Chiclayo in Peru a year after becoming Pope. So he hasn't been a cardinal for that long, believe it or not. He is well known to cardinals because of his high-profile role as prefect of the diocesary for bishops in Latin America, which has the important task of selecting and supervising bishops. He became archbishop at the same time in January 2023, and within a few months, Francis made him a cardinal. So hasn't been a cardinal for that long at all. As 80% of the cardinals who took part in the conclave were appointed by Francis, well, there you go. It is not all that surprising that someone like Prevost was elected, even if he was only recently appointed. What are Pope Leo's views? This is what a lot of people were wondering. Like when he was announced, what does everyone think about the new Pope? We don't like his viewpoints. He will be seen as a figure who favored the continuity of Francis' reforms in the Catholic Church. Great. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So Catholics that want to actually stick with the original doctrines of the Catholic Church and conservatism, you're going to find that to be a major problem, because Pope Leo is now just Pope Francis 2.0, just a little bit woker. How about that? Prevost is believed to have shared Francis's views on migrants, support, and the environment. Hence why he was chosen, ladies and gentlemen. So you've got a net zero emission Pope. How about that? Climate change is real, guys, and it's quite concerning. Also, we must treat the migrants coming into the country with decency and respect, even though they're going around killing people. Even if they are Muslim, too. Yeah, okay. Sure, Pope Leo. As Cardinal, he was not only shied away from challenging the views of US Vice President J.D. Vance, there you go. He reposted a post on social media platform X, which was critical of the Trump administration's deportation of a US resident of El Salvador, and shared a critical comment piece written about a TV interview given by Vance to Fox News. J.D. Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others, read the post, repeating the headline from the commentary of the National Catholic Reporter website. Gee, well, we're off to a great start, already criticizing the Vice President of the United States. Although he is an American, he will be fully aware of the divisions within the Catholic Church. His Latin American background also represents continuity after a pope who came from Argentina. The Vatican described him as the second pope from the Americas after Pope Francis, as well as the first Augustinian pope. During his time in Peru, he has not escaped the sexual abuse scandals that have clouded the church. However, his diocese fervently denied that he had been involved in any attempted cover-up. So he's already got a little bit of controversy swinging his way too. So that's interesting as well. Seems like the cardinals, 80% of them were appointed by Francis. they made the choice that they wanted to make. And it didn't take them long, by the way, like not long at all, for them to come up with Pope Leo. Before the conclave, Vatican spokesperson Matteo Bruni said that during gatherings of the College of Cardinals in the days before the conclave, they emphasized the need for a pope with a prophetic spirit capable of leading a church that does not close in on itself, but knows how to go out and bring the light to a world marked by despair. Well, I really do wonder if this new pope is going to actually share the gospel, the good news, or if he's just going to lead the church down a very, very dark path. We'll wait to find out, shall we? And he said in his first address, peace be upon you all, as they normally do. But anyway, let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this new pope and whether or not you care, because I personally, I know that it's a big deal for a lot of Catholics. It's a big deal for society as a whole. But honestly, the worship of a man is not the way to go. But anyway, you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.